Tonight on the Saga Vault, we're going off-world. Not to a galaxy far, far away, but to foreign markets, unofficial lines, strange translations,
I not elephant you be afraid the dark world so.
and souvenirs from the furthest corners of the globe. These aren't items you're going to find at your local Mall of America, but our dedicated collectors were determined to bring them home anyway. 4 collectors, 4 artifacts, only 1 open slot. Let's open the vault. Welcome to the Saga Vault, where the world's most passionate collectors bring their most cherished artifacts to our table. Tonight's theme, Planet Furthest From. Foreign objects from foreign lands. The relics you only get when Star Wars leaves home. Let's meet our collectors. Duncan Jenkins, a bioweapons engineer from Kansas City and curator of his very own Sithsonian collection.
I can neither confirm nor deny that part.
I hope you know if you're making them. Vic Wertz, curator of the Imperial Archives and former editor of the Star Wars Insider. And such a sweetheart.
Thank you.
Steve Sansweet, the godfather of sci-fi collecting and the Guinness Book of World Records holder of the world's largest Star Wars collection. A true Star Wars legend. Thanks for being here, Steve.
Somebody had to be.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody had to be. And I'm glad it was you. And finally, Gus Lopez, a Star Wars collector from Seattle who likes to travel. All right, Gus, show and tell us what you brought. Here we go. It's a rock.
It's a rock. It's more than a rock.
What is it?
Well, it's a model of the City Drist Hotel in Tunisia, which happens to be the filming location for the Lars homestead, the interiors that were shot in Matmata for the first movie. It's the background when Luke and Amperu and Uncle Owen are sitting at the table. This is what you see in the background when you see them walking in the courtyard. It's like a little mini playset of Star Wars. And actually they went back there for episode 2.
That's really cool. It almost looks like a model miniature.
One of the things I like to do is when I visit locations is find artifacts from the places that they filmed in Star Wars. You know, it's a tourist destination because the town of Matmata is famous for the troglodyte homes. A lot of people there live in homes like this. But now they do promote, there's actually souvenirs there now that say Star Wars. So they've sort of,
Really?
Yeah, they've caught on.
Is it a working hotel? Did you stay there?
It is a working hotel, yeah. I had to convince my wife Pam to stay at it because it's this cave with a wooden door.
Is this a molded piece or is each one handmade?
Each one's handmade. Yeah, it's like a plaster piece that's then painted later. But what was cool about Tunisia is they actually didn't have to build a lot of set. I mean, when they did location scouting, they were actually looking at the architecture in addition to the landscape. There's actually a place called Tatooine in Tunisia, which the name of the planet came from.
Spelled
Really?
Spelled a little differently.
Spelled a little differently, but yeah, but close. It's actually close spelling, yeah.
So I'm curious, you have any idea how many of these they made?
Not really, no. I mean, one vendor has a few of them and they're handmade, so small numbers of them.
This isn't even unofficially Star Wars branded, right?
No, not
This
even.
is just,
Yeah.
this is an area, this is
a
what the area looks
souvenir of the area that happens to be the Lars
No
homestead.
royalties are paid.
like. I think our next interesting object is going to be a real Turkish delight. Steve, you want to?
Sounds good.
Nice, nice. I know what it is even from behind.
Really? Stars War. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Steve, what is this?
Vintage action figures are at the heart of a lot of collections of Star Wars memorabilia.
I've heard.
One of the most notable companies that did Star Wars was SB Products in Turkey. And they thought they could get away with doing a bootleg version of Star Wars figures because they called it Stars War. And they left out letters from some of the characters' names. So it was Darth Vader and Chewbacca. And this is my favorite. This is the Imperial Gunner. And I love it so much because it shows the gunner at the controls of the Death Star laser cannon.
Yes.
And it turns out to be a Casio calculator from the period. There are other great figures from Hungary and Poland and Russia, but the Turkish Uze figures are the top of the collection, I think.
So is this the actual calculator from the card?
Not the actual calculator in the photo.
And so how did you find this Turkish figure still unopened?
There were dealers at comic conventions and other toy shows back in the 90s who had bootleg figures. And sometimes they were asking a pittance for them. These things have now gone into the 4-figure range, some of them.
Wow.
I think all of them.
What I love about it is also that the cards have action figures on it, because Kenner and all its like affiliates used photos
Characters.
and
Right.
That's a really good point.
yeah. So it's different.
And they did about 10 figures, 12 figures, and they did some vehicles, some small vehicles too.
Do you know if they were ever approached by Lucasfilm to be shut down for
They
this?
got a cease and desist order.
Oh.
Because they were doing this over a period of a couple of years in the late 80s.
Interesting.
Very cool. Very cool. Moving from a piece like this to more of a modern oddity from a convenience store far, far away. Vic, why don't you show us what you brought?
Okay.
Looks like a droid, Vic.
It does look like a droid. It was I can't believe they made that kind of concept. This was made by a company called Sega Toys and offered at the 7-Eleven convenience store in Japan. It is
7-Eleven?
R2 7-Eleven. It is from 2012. It's packaged during the promotion of Star Wars Episode 1 3D. What it is, it's called Homestar. It's a planetarium. It would project actual stars from Earth view onto your ceiling with one minor difference. There's a Death Star overhead, but it's actual Earth stars as seen from Earth, then a special version just for 7-Eleven in 7-Eleven colors with R2 7-Eleven. Generally, you don't get companies introducing new characters, so having the character R2 7-Eleven is kind of unique.
Well, especially since it's the name of the convenience
The
store.
name of the convenience store.
And how would you get this? Was this a prize or for sale in retail?
So I believe this was a prize. You might know better than I do, actually.
It was a prize.
Yeah.
This guy says all-knowing.
And I knew Duncan would know this, of all people. Yeah, I love the Japanese merchandise. It's always so
do I.
unique, and it's got a different look and a different flavor.
7-Eleven is owned by a Japanese company.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that makes sense why Japan 7-Elevens would be producing product like this, which you don't see that in our 7-Elevens.
Right.
Have you ever seen one of these work? Obviously, this is
I
in the
never
package.
have. I've never seen it outside the package. Kind of sad.
Well, this is a great piece. Jumping from Japan over to Europe, we've got our own in-house Russian wizard here. Duncan, what evil are you going to be bringing us today?
Let me show you.
All right, sounds good. Grill Stellari?
Guerre Stellare.
Oh, what does that mean?
That means Star Wars from Italy.
Oh, okay.
Many of the countries kept the Star Wars logo, and that's something that's very common today, is that they keep that Star Wars logo
Even if the
almost
language is
exclusive.
different.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. But for Italy, they actually changed the logo, but kind of kept it in a similar Star Warsy look.
Right.
But the funny thing I think about it is that they actually called the landspeeder a hovercraft scooter, which I thought is kind of a funny name, but it tells what it does.
Yeah, I guess it only scoots across the desert.
So is hovercraft scooter Italian for landspeeder?
It must be, evidently, yeah.
That's a really good.
It's all according to how you pronounce it.
That's right.
Scooter.
That's right. The Harbert stuff is very difficult to find.
Really?
Yes, particularly the vehicles.
So does the toy itself sort of lack some of the features of the U.S. toys?
Depending on the countries, they may take exactly like the U.S. version, which has the little pop front and have the little stickers and things like that. And then some of the countries opted to not have an opening hood. But in this case, it actually, I believe, has the opening hood. There are variations on the striping around and the chrome for the land speeder in different countries.
So I noticed they've used the American photography on the front.
I was going to ask that.
Front and sides, but the top photo looks completely different.
Yeah, the one on the top is unique to Italy, and it shows 3 3/4 scale vehicles mixed in with the die cast to give kind of perspective of, ones that are in the distance.
And while all 4 of us have international items in our collection, Duncan's kind of our go-to guy for international depth.
Mm-hmm. He specializes in that.
That's one of the things I really like. Yeah.
And Duncan and I both consider ourselves completists, but these days that means we'd like everything. We can't have everything.
We definitely can't have
It's
everything.
just not possible.
It is
is
not.
it?
No.
No, I mean, there are millions of licensed Star Wars objects out there.
That's wild. That's wild. 4 incredible Star Wars artifacts, but only one can be saved for the future generations in our Saga Vault. A Turkish bootleg that rewrote Star Wars with Stars War. An Italian localization that named a landspeeder hovercraft scooter. And a tchotchke from a movie set turned sleazy Matmata hotel. And R2-D2's Japanese cousin, R2-711. He shouldn't exist, but he does. Let's argue.
Well, it's hard to argue because they're all great. So,
Like, if that were the original calculator, there'd be no question. I'm leaning towards the Uze because it's just so fabulous.
Yeah, the Turkish thing is just so unique with the Earthling calculator used as the Death Star gunner.
although I will say I do love the tie-in to 7-Eleven with the R2-711. When they do unique sort of localized products, those are always fun. So that has an interesting appeal.
I love the City Dress hotel piece because I'm partial to those kinds of souvenir-oriented things, even though I haven't visited very many of the sites.
Right. The hovercraft scooter is just hilarious. That's what it's titled. The Matmata hotel piece just seems so unique.
Yeah.
It's so surprisingly cool. I don't know, this is a tough one.
It's not a specific Star Wars piece, as far as like a licensed piece or something like that.
In doing a museum, we want to show the inspiration for how
Right.
we do things, and this is like actually something from the filming location. So we will want to go beyond like licensed product.
It may not be immediately recognizable to a casual fan.
Dan knows from prop collecting, there's this thing of the mom test. It's basically, is it an item that your mother would know what it is? And I agree on this case, you should. I don't know if my mother would. She might know what it is, but most mothers would not know what that is.
But are any of these pieces that? I mean,
So I'd say on the
Robot.
mom test, the R2 probably is the strongest.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Among the bootleg action figures, the
Yeah.
Turkish figures are on the top.
I love Star Wars items that are quirky, and this to me is among the quirkier items in my collection.
Very true.
Yeah, I love the idea of the Imperial Gunner hitting square root instead of.
They destroy Alderaan with it.
what about Duncan's piece?
Like if you're showing the international range of the action figure toys, it's great for that.
I have to say, from now on, whenever I watch the original Star Wars, I'm not going to be seeing a landspeeder. I'm going to be seeing a hovercraft.
Hovercraft scooter.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a tough vote, at least for me. I don't know about you guys.
No,
Maybe
it
you
is.
guys
It
are
is
tough
a
vote.
tough
Yeah, no, they're.
All right. Let's start with Gus.
All right.
Who'd you vote for?
R2, 7-Eleven.
All right. And why?
Because I just love the tie-ins with like local brands. Even though it's a big one, 7-Eleven, that kind of thing is just something that appeals to me.
Steve.
I voted for the City Dress souvenir because it's something that I would love to add to my collection.
Vic?
I voted for the Uze because it's just so eye-catching, and it's just a cool piece.
Duncan?
I also voted for the Uzai. I think it's just fascinating and hilarious. Very fun on a lot of different levels.
Very cool. But my personal choice is the Homestead because it's such a limited piece And the way it's made, it's not connected to Star Wars, but it is. These are the locations that inspired Star Wars to shoot there and create planets that look like the actual world. So that's my reasoning. So I think we have a tie. The tie between Gus's piece and Steve's piece. I don't think anybody here voted for their own piece.
No.
That's interesting.
We all want to add these pieces to our
There we go.
That's right.
There we go.
Which piece
That's
do
the
you
right
want
attitude.
most? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the only way we're going to figure this out is to go out to the audience. And I think it's really important that the audience votes. This is you guys not just voting on our show for the Saga Vault, but this is information that's going to help the museum find out what the audience really wants.
And we've got 1.5 million pieces or so to go through.
That's a lot. Yeah, you
lot
need
of
some help
episodes.
organizing it, right? You've got a week to vote, and we'll find out who wins.